Welcome to the BJ Show. Let's rock and roll. Rock and roll. Come on, everybody. Let's lose control. Brand John, they're the ones to follow. Yeah, ready for the ride. It's the BJ Show. BJ Show.
John, it is July 30th. Did I get that right? July 30th?
Yeah, only one more day of this month, Brad. I went and I looked at my knuckles, and I did the old knuckle gimmick, and it turns out that July has 31 days.
Hard to believe. We're getting a late start this morning, had some technical issues. And John, here's what I want to do. I'm going to go directly into the top three. And is your first one going to last at least a couple minutes, you think?
Yeah, absolutely, Brad.
Okay, because I got to go in the other studio. I got to do one more little tweak. So, John Combest, Combest, he's the guy that puts this together every single day. Check out his website at johncombest.com. He puts on dozens of stories for you to take a look at, and he uses this special version of the web. Which version are you using, John?
0.0.
There's no graphics. There's no GIFs. There's no anything like that. There's no fancy things. There's not even any Flash, John, because John's...
There's definitely no Flash.
No Flash.
Because also, Brad, the last time you dealt with Flash, you were in Klondike Park. And you told those guys, look, I don't need to see your sinkhole.
Oh, right. That's exactly what I said.
That was for John Lamping right there.
That's what I said. But his dog saw the whole thing. Okay, but what we do is we start the show off with John's top three. We bring in this guy. Your name again, sir?
I'm Casey Kasem.
And we start off with, and John, give me 2 minutes. Start off with number one.
In third place.
Excuse me, number three. What am I doing?
Brad picked a fantastic time to step aside for just a second, because if he didn't, he would have so much commentary about this story. I'm so glad that we get to spend this time together without Brad weighing in and besmirching one of the cameo players in story number three. You see, it's brought to us by the Washington Missourian. And the headline from managing editor Jonathan Riley reads, Missourian moving to weekly print schedule. That's right. The Washington Missourian, the venerated publication, which I believe was the longest running print newspaper in the state of Missouri, unless I'm mistaken. I believe that was the Missourian's claim to fame, or I guess still is the Missourian's claim to fame. The longest running print publication in the state of Missouri is now moving from a 2-day-a-week print schedule to a 1-day-a-week print schedule. The Missourian will now print on Wednesdays and then take all those papers, take them to the U.S. Postal Service, and according to Mr. Riley, the hopes are the Postal Service will deliver the newspapers to subscribers on Thursday. That's a pretty good turnaround for the U.S. Postal Service, delivering something in one day. I don't know how that's going to pan out. But probably the key part of this story, other than moving from 2 days a week print to 1 day a week print, is that home delivery of the newspaper by newspaper carriers will end the last week of August. Now, one of the reasons why I'm so glad that Brad stepped aside for just a minute and isn't offering live real-time commentary here is that the newspaper group was purchased by the Hoffmanns, particularly a subset of the Hoffmann family called the Hoffmann Media Group. And Brad would probably say that this is just another sign that the Hoffmanns are destroying things in the Franklin County area. But Missourian publisher Bill Miller Jr., he would set the Brad Hildebrand to the world straight. Here's what Mr. Miller says, quote, none of these decisions were made lightly, and some were in progress before the Hoffmann Media Group acquired us in June. It's part of our plan to thrive and adapt to the changing habits of our readers. We recognize that the future is online, and we're moving to meet our readers where they are. So the Missourian also notes that their website is undergoing a redesign and offering other different type of enhancements, including the debut of a news app. It's like if you're a news station now, it seems like you got to have an app. You're a weather place, you got to have an app. The debut of a news app, which will provide subscribers with an opportunity to receive news alerts on their cell phone. So that's pretty cool. If something big is happening in the Washington area, maybe it's sports scores, maybe it's a weather event, maybe it's breaking news about Dave Schatz, Franklin County presiding commissioner. Maybe it's any sort of valuable information. You could get news from the Missourian app. Now, it's not clear exactly when the app is going to launch, but it looks like they have it in the works. This is the first time I've seen them acknowledge that they're building an app. So I guess we just see a little bit more time after time. We see newspapers that were once dailies going to a stripped down print publication. And now the Missourian going from being published on Wednesdays and Sundays to being just Wednesday. There is one opportunity to learn a little bit more about this, and it's in person. The Missourian has scheduled an open house for readers on Wednesday, August 27th from 3 to 6 p.m. So you can come on in, take a look at the results of its most recent reader survey, and receive feedback, or I should say, give feedback to the newspaper about what they're doing. So I think an inspirational quote here is from Mr. Miller. The story sums up with, "Our commitment to community journalism remains unaffected by these changes. It has been the cornerstone of our newspaper for the past 165 years and will continue to be our guiding star moving forward. It is what we do best, and that will never change." I am so glad that Brad stepped away for a minute, because I believe he would have something to say here about a biker bar that closed, or some kind of old-timey nursery and an urban myth that people are no longer buying plants there because they don't like the Hoffmanns. And that's why I think it's great that we could probably just roll right into story number 2. You know, when I think of story number 2, I think about climbing up a ladder. And every time we talk about a ladder, Brad makes some sort of Josh Hawley reference. Well, Josh Hawley is in the news because Hawley is suggesting that we each get a little bit of piece of mail. And the mail would include a check. And the check would be federal government. That's right. Josh Hawley is suggesting a $600 tariff rebate for adults and children. Now, by my math, if Brad were to spread his seed and have a few million more kids, if he had $600 per kid, he could qualify to be in the David Hoffmann echelon, and he could perhaps, I don't know, buy a newspaper with David Hoffmann. And sometimes I sit around thinking, when can this filibuster end? How long will it take for Brad to reboot a computer? I don't know. I'll shout into the ether. Is there an opportunity for Brad to reboot the computer?
John, I got it done, but you already moved into number 2, so keep going with number 2.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Well, I have a few pieces up from Fox Business, also the New York Post, other outlets about this $600 tariff rebate. Now, I don't know about you, Brad, but I think looking at the tariffs and then saying, I think we should give everybody $600, I think it's a little bit of a stretch from Josh Hawley. What do you think, Brad?
You know what? Can I be honest with you? I mean,
Yeah, please be.
Josh Hawley, why doesn't he just put on his forehead, I want to be president? I mean, why doesn't he just do that? You know what I mean?
Because I think most of us, including yourself, Brad, are smart enough to see that that's what this is about.
That's all that it's about. I mean, see, the crazy thing about this is, we give the government money, governments on many levels, okay? We give them the money, and then they pretend like it's their money. Well, maybe we'll give some of it back. Well, don't take as much money, and then you don't have to give anything back. How's that, John?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And I mean, here's the thing. What I think, and what I think Senator Hawley certainly knows, is that any money that we capture from tariffs should be used to pay down a deficit and not be used like it's COVID pandemic spending boon. You know what I mean? And I think Senator Hawley knows that. But, you know, it's a pretty good populist position because, Brad, who would argue with free money? Isn't this free money? It's not my money. Give me some money.
I don't know. The whole thing is just very frustrating to me. I mean,
Hey, I know what you're going to love, though, from Josh Hawley, because he has a piece of legislation that I know you support, and I think you'll even support its updated form. That's story number one. Do we have a cue?
we do.
The number one.
Oh, from the good folks at Axios. And by good, I mean intellectual. Josh Hawley's stock trading ban sparks drama with White House. Brad, I have it ready for you because I know you would ask. The PELOSI Act stands for Preventing Elected Leaders from Owning Securities and Investments. I'll get right to the heart of it, Brad. You know, some people like this proposal. Some people don't. Some Democrats like it. Some Democrats don't. Could say the same thing for Republicans. But here's the proverbial sticky wicket. Brad, to get his legislation through committee, Hawley had to work, or I should say, Hawley needs votes from Democrats. Now, Brad, you've had a long, intellectually testing morning, but I'm going to put you on the spot one time. In order to get support from Democrats on this committee, Hawley's proposal might have to apply to at least two other people that are not in Congress. What did Hawley have to expand his bill to include? They're at the address is 1600 Pennsylvania Boulevard.
He wants to be president.
Pennsylvania Ave.
He wants to be president. No?
So the point is, Brad, he had to expand the bill to include the president and the vice president. Now, how do you think Donald Trump might feel about people taking a close eye at his investments?
Well, he just opened up a new golf course. I mean,
Yeah, no, I think you have him confused with David Hoffman, Brad. No, so here's the point: is that it's anticipated in this chess match that Hawley, which the White House, President Trump has at least indicated verbally that he likes the idea of something called the PELOSI Act. I think we could understand why he would want to come after Nancy Pelosi. So Democrats say, as I understand it, okay, cool, but let's extend this to the White House too. And Hawley says, that's great, let's do it. And the White House pushes back and says, whoa, what are you talking about there, Josh? Why you got to include the White House? So as it stands now, according to this Axios piece by Steph W. Kite, Kight, Hawley says, okay, let's include the White House, but we're going to change the terms of this, that it won't start, this updated Pelosi type act won't start until the beginning of an elected official's next term. So naturally, Brad, that wouldn't apply to Donald Trump because he won't have a next term. It would apply to J.D. Vance, though. So a little bit of, what should we say here, Brad? I don't know if horse trading is the right word, but it appears as though the White House had some pushback once Hawley extended this to the executive branch.
The ridiculous thing about this is that we have Donald Trump who came in rich, but the usual situation with most of the legislators, and Nancy Pelosi is a perfect example, they come in with not much jack in their account and they leave with literally like 9 figures. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like a Jasmine Crockett type. I heard she's doing really well.
Well,
Well, she went to MICDS though, so I think that you get. I think you just start on third base there, right?
Yeah, she's. You know what? I had this discussion with 2 people yesterday, and just like when I brought this up with you, and I'm not, mentioning. I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of you, but remember, you were somewhat surprised that she was from St. Louis and she went to MICDS.
I had no idea she was from here. I learned that from you, Brad, and I certainly wouldn't have guessed that she went to MICDS. Brad, could you imagine when you and I were 17, if you had turned up on the campus of Country Day? Or I had turned up on the campus of MICDS, they would say, oh, it's cute. We have a new janitor here. He's a white boy.
Yeah, right. Well, I will tell you one of my I've never told this story before, and the person that this is involving, if they're listening, you know what? I'm sorry, but I have to tell this story. I have a friend of mine who's now retired, who was a lifelong school teacher, 30 years school teacher, and just told me great things about taught in the public school district, won't mention which district, talked to me about how important the public schools were and how good the public schools were, and they were just wonderful schools. And where did she send her son to? MICDS.
Probably MICDS.
Yes. I always thought that was funny. And I would say to her, Okay, now explain to me this story about how great the public schools are.
She couldn't afford John Burroughs?
Where's your kid going to school at?
Yeah.
Well, that's
If
different.
they love their kid, they would have sent them to Priory.
Right. Is that further up the hierarchy? I don't really know.
I don't really know. I don't want to incriminate myself, but I'm a little better versed in the girls' schools.
I wonder why. So
that's what we call coming into money, Brad.
Back in the day, you were a Mary Institute fan. Was that what you're telling me? Is that what you're saying?
No. In fact, I didn't lay a hand on anything in that category till like the college era. I mean, Brad, in high school, you think one of those girls would be messing with a Hazelwood East boy? Get out of here.
That's right. You couldn't get anywhere south of Page, right? Wasn't that what it was? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, until I was able to claim WashU, I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't get a scent of any of that stuff.
I hear you. Okay, we have to take a break.